Welcome aboard as we journey back to the Titanic, today on Brickscale Studio. Welcome back to Brickscale Studio. My name is Jeff. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am super excited about this first episode of our what I think is going to be an epic Titanic build. So we're going to be doing the Agora Models Titanic and the 9,090 piece Lego Titanic. So the Agora Models version is 1/200 scale, and I'm assuming that the Lego version is about in that same ballpark because they are both about 53 inches long. So almost 4.5 feet. So they should be the same size roughly when we're finished. So super excited to get this started. Today's probably going to be a little longer episode because we do a little unboxing and that kind of thing. Also, I did want to mention that in the Agora Models, we have lights, sounds, and some smoke effects, which is going to be very interesting. And then on the Lego side, I have purchased the Light My Bricks 2.0 lighting system for the Titanic set. So we will be diving into that as well as we build the Lego version. Let's get into this build and then we will talk about it after. And so it begins. So here are the boxes for what is going to be the epic Titanic build. So obviously on the left is the Lego Titanic and on the right is the Agora Models Titanic. So let's take a quick look at the first couple of issues for Titanic and the parts packs before we get into it, and then we will unbox the Lego set. Here is the brochure that comes with the first issue of the Titanic parts pack. If we open it up here, we get some information on the ship. And then hopefully this will all fit in here. Oh, pretty good. And then we get, this is not to scale. The actual model will be much larger than this. So here's my hand for scale. But this just goes over the model, giving you some details. It's over 134 centimeters long, which I believe that works out to about 52.5 inches. There's moving parts, working lights, smoke effects and sounds, accurate details, a metal hull, photo-etched brass, a remote control which operates moving parts, lights, sounds, and smoke effects. It has a running engine. There will be a panel in the hull that can be removed to reveal the engine in action. There are rotating propellers, working lights, again the metal hull, the smoke effect, lifeboats, and then realistic accessories. And then this just shows you what's coming up in issue 2. So for this episode, we will be doing issues 1 and 2. So for issue 1, here is the parts pack, which includes the forecastle and the decking. And then for issue 2, we get some hull pieces. So we will get all into that when we get into the build segment. So here we go, issue 1 of the legendary Titanic. So let's get into the magazine here. One thing I will say, the magazines are very well done for this model. It gives you a ton of backstory and history and information about the Titanic and the voyage and the crew and the passengers. I mean, I read through the first couple issues and it was just amazing. A ton of information. So I would highly recommend, if for no other reason, the history you get in these magazines. It's just amazing. So here we get into issue number 1. So we're going to be working on the forecastle and attaching some pieces. And I will have a note when we get started on this. All right, and that is it. So here is the parts pack. Now, the note that I have is that some of these pieces are the wrong color, and they issue new pieces in, I believe it's pack 3. So I already have pack 3, so I have already retrieved those new pieces. So basically, these breakwaters are supposed to be white, so we will not be using the gray that is included. And then there are some of these white pieces that are supposed to be brass, so we'll be using those. And then some of these pieces that are white should be recolored as well. So we will be using the corrected colors. Now, if you have issue 1 and you have not yet received pack 3, you might want to hold off on attaching these pieces because you will get new ones in pack 3. So just be aware of that. So let's open up our parts pack here. All right, here. So this is a plastic piece. This is already painted. So this is wood. It's like a veneer that we have some adhesive backing. So this is going to go over this part here, just like so. And you want to make sure that you get your holes lined up. So that's our first step, is attaching the wood piece to this piece. And if you watch the World of Wayne channel, he has already built this model, or is in the process of building this model, but he is definitely past this step. So what he recommends is that you put some glue down here and don't just rely on the adhesive backing, because over time, especially on the edges, that will start to peel away. And he recently published an issue where he had a piece of decking that was rather small, so he wasn't so concerned about it peeling up, so he didn't glue it. Well, guess what? It peeled up, so he went back and glued the edges down. So we're going to take his tip, and we are going to put a little wood glue on this before we attach the adhesive. Let me go grab a toothpick really quick. So I'm just going to take a toothpick and some of these littler holes where I got a little carried away. I want to get the glue out of there because we're going to be pressing parts in there, and if there is glue in the holes, it's going to make it hard for us to push the parts into. So we want to make sure that we don't break parts when we're pushing them in, because we're not going to use all of these holes today, I don't believe. All right, I think that is good. So I am going to take the backing off. And then I'm going to start and yes, this was a good tip because it does give us a little wiggle room so that we can make sure we get all of those holes lined up. So that is what that is looking like. So we've got a ton of little parts here. And then of course we know that we are not going to be using these because they are the wrong color. We're going to be using the new ones. So let's get those out. And then as far as these are good. Now these pieces here, these 4, are not correct. So I'm going to get the correct color out. So put those aside. And then the other ones that are incorrect are these white ones here. And this one's correct, these are not. So we have all of our correct parts. And then we have our little anchor here. All right, so the first ones we're going to put on are these. This is, let's see, these are winches. So we are going to put one there. And these just push in. And then we're going to put this one in. And I don't know, it's probably hard to tell on camera, but of the two little lugs here, one is larger than the other, so that helps you orient them correctly. Okay. So those are in. Then we want to take this little piece that kind of looks like a Monopoly hotel. This is an air vent. So this is going to go right here. And again, that just pushes in. And then we have another air vent that goes right here, like so. Okay, and then we have this little anchor that's going to go. Now this one is a little fragile, so be careful when you're pushing it in. I just want to make sure that is not coming out. Nope. All right, that goes there. Now we have our bollards, which are these pieces here. And they're going to go along the side. And again, one of the pegs is thicker than the other, so that's going to help us line these up. So one goes in there. One goes in here. And again, those click in. You can definitely hear them click in. And then one goes here. Like so. And then we've got the other side. So one goes in here. One in there. And then our last one goes right there. And I'm just looking to make sure that these are all flush and pushed all the way in, which they are. So I got one more piece, so I'm going to get rid of this tray. All right, so the next piece is going in, another ventilation duct. So first of all, I'm going to put in the breakwaters here really quick. So these have some ribbing on one side and they're smooth on the other. So the ribbing goes in like so. So these are going to go right in here. There are 3 holes. So just be gentle, don't do what I just did. Yeah, we're going to have to glue that, so don't do what I just did. Be gentle. So we'll come back and we will glue this one in just a second. So this vent is going in right here, like so. And then we have a hatch that is going to go right there. All right, and then the next we have our bollards, or I'm sorry, these are capstans, and there are 4 of them. There. There. Okay, perfect. And the last one is we have steam valves, and they're going in these 4 holes here. And I am going to try to be very careful with these because they look very fragile. Yes, they do. And one tip that that Wayne gives is kind of put them in and like wiggle them. And yes, that seems to be a good tip. You don't just want to push straight down. Okay, and it does say that we will have an extra one of those, so we do have an extra one of those. And I do have an extra piece here. Oh, yeah, I missed. Where did I miss? 1E, which is a small skylight. Okay, and that is going to go right here. Okay. All right, so I am going to glue this in here, and we will be right back. Okay, so that is the end of issue 1, and this is our forecastle as it stands. Now, obviously, we have not used all of the holes, so we will have some additional parts that we will be placing in, but that is the end of issue 1. Let's move on to issue 2. Here is issue 2. And again, a ton of information in the manual, or the magazine. And then it looks like we get a piece of the hull. So let's get, here is parts pack 2. Right, so we do get a little screwdriver. However, I will be using my own. And then we get 2 pieces of the hull, and these are metal. And then we get a connector, which is plastic. We get some, let's see, AM screws, and this little Titanic nameplate, which is right here. So I'm going to set that aside. Get rid of this tray. All right, so what we are doing is taking these 2 pieces like so, and that is going to sit just like this. Right on those, and we're going to put those in with AM screws. All right, and now I'm going to use a little bit bigger screwdriver. These screws are good size, and that is what that is looking like. And then the next thing we need to do is we want to attach this piece, and let's see, yeah, it's going to go on just like so. And again, that's going to be put in with 4 AM screws. So let me get those going here. Okay, and that is the end of this issue. All right, so let's move on to the Lego version. Okay, here is the Lego box. So let's crack this open and see what we've got. Okay, so here is the top of the box. This is a very big box here. So let's open this up. All right, so the first thing we have is a little diagram here. I will take a picture of that. All right. Okay. And then we open to reveal. There are 1, 2, 3 boxes. They are labeled 1, 2, and 3. So let's take a look, take those out and give those a look. Box number 1. So it shows us box number 1, and then it shows us what segment of the ship. So this is the front of the ship. Box number 2, and very similar. It's showing us this is box 2, and it's the middle of the ship. And then you guessed it, box 3. And again, it is showing us box 3 and the rear of the ship. So very cool. So here is box 1. Let us crack that open. Oh my goodness. All right, so clearly we have a ton of bags, and we have our manual here. And then we also had these 2 loose parts. All right, so we got another one of the sheets about the paper bags, although we did not get any paper bags here. All right, so this is Titanic Book 1. And this is quite exciting. So we'll go over this when we start the build process. So here is the book. Again, there's some information about the ship. And then we have 12 numbered bags in this first box of parts, and we're working on the front of the ship. And we are working on the bow and the well deck, which is this piece that we'll be working on for this first segment. So let's get into the build. Okay, that is step 15. So we have got a pretty good start here on the Lego Titanic. Okay, so let's recap what we have done in this episode. So this is the Lego version, and then for the scale model version, we've been working on the forecastle and a piece of the hull, and then of course the Lego version. All right, so that will do it for this episode. Wow, what a great couple of first issues for the scale model version. So remember about those parts that have been recolored. If you are building this as well and you have not received Pack 3 yet, you might hold off until you do because you'll get the replacement parts. Also, don't be like me and get in a hurry and snap off those pegs. Take your time. But wow, what a fun couple of issues. A nice gentle start into this build. Everything went pretty smoothly. I like how those pieces just pushed right in. And we've got a great start on the Lego version as well. So let's do a summary really quick. So for the scale model version, we completed 8 steps and used 31 parts. And for the Lego version, we completed 37 steps and used 98 parts. So obviously our total to date so far is 8 steps for the scale model with 31 parts, and 37 steps and 98 parts for the Lego model. What do you think so far? I did mention the lighting kit for the Titanic. I don't believe we're going to get into that until about the 5th episode or so. I don't believe we start incorporating that in until we get to about page 75 in the Lego instruction booklet, and we're not there yet. So I will definitely alert you to that when we get there. What else? Other housekeeping news. Saturday, we have another Build the Batmobile Superhero Saturday, so be sure to tune in for that. And then Tuesday, we have another new build starting, and that is the Generation 1 Optimus Prime. This thing is also from Agora Models, and it is also going to be a beast. I think it's about 3 feet tall. There will be lights and sounds, so be sure to tune in for that. That has been an interesting build so far. I've recorded a couple of episodes, and it's a little different, which I'll talk about in those videos. But having a good time so far. Again, remember to like, subscribe, share the videos, comment down below. It really helps, especially the liking and subscribing. It really helps to get the videos noticed. Remember, we're trying to hit those subscriber milestones. A few weeks ago, we gave away a retro record player to one lucky viewer. So when we hit 500, we will do another giveaway. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and definitely hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the cool stuff coming up. And with that, I will bid you happy building, take care, be kind to each other, and I will see you very soon.